Something is humming, and the people in the room don't yet know that it's wrong. The year is 1979. Inside a control room in Pennsylvania, rows of panels glow green and amber. Switches line the walls and gauges tremble slightly under fluorescent light. It's just after 4 a.m. and operators sit in rolling chairs, with coffee cooling beside binders of procedures. And outside, the Susquehanna River moves quietly past the concrete cooling towers. And then a pump shuts down. A warning light flickers on, and then another follows. An alarm sounds, sharp, metallic, insistent. Someone leans forward, and someone else checks a dial. The pressure inside the reactor is rising. But one indicator says the valve is closed, and the room decides to believe it. The alarm continues. Steam is building inside the reactor vessel. A relief valve has opened to reduce pressure exactly as it was designed, but it doesn't close. The indicator light says it did. In reality, it's stuck open. Cooling water is escaping. The operators see rising water levels on another gauge, and it looks like too much water in the system. They reduce emergency cooling. If they add more water, they risk overfilling the pressurizer. And that's what the training warns against. 2 readings, 2 interpretations, 1 decision. The core begins to uncover. Fuel rods heat beyond their designed limits. Inside the sealed containment building, metal is warping, and no one in the room can see it. The next hour, hydrogen forms inside the reactor vessel. A small explosion shakes the containment building, and radiation levels rise inside the plant. Later that morning, state officials are notified. The next day, confusion spreads. Conflicting reports begin to circulate. Parents keep children home from school, and television crews arrive outside the gates. 3 days later, the governor recommends pregnant women and preschool children leave the area within 5 miles. Highways fill with cars. Press conferences replace control panels, and federal officials speak very carefully. Years later, cleanup continues, and regulations tighten. Control rooms across the country are redesigned. Picture one operator sitting in that room after the alarm stops. The lights are still glowing, the panels are still humming, and nothing looks destroyed. Outside, the river still moves. Inside, something nearly invisible almost changed the future of nuclear energy in America. It wasn't fire, it wasn't smoke, it was a signal misunderstood. But what if the valve light had shown the truth? What if the gauge had told the full story? What if the training emphasized uncertainty instead of procedure? The cooling water stays on, the core remains covered. No hydrogen forms, no evacuation recommendations, and no national fear. No permanent shadow over civilian nuclear power in the U.S. The control room becomes just another quiet shift change. No headlines, no symbol. Just a routine malfunction corrected before the sunrise. Remove one stuck valve, one misread signal, and the ripple disappears. 3 Mile Island didn't explode like a bomb. It unraveled quietly. Sometimes the future doesn't hinge on panic. It hinges on interpretation. So, what signal in your life might deserve a second look? Share it in the comments below, and if you would like to explore more of these ripples in history and in life, please hit subscribe and join me on the Ripple Trace.